Are you mad at your husband?
No, like I'm proud of him. I'm just pissed that he got caught and that he got sloppy and impatient and I thought we were like in the clear. And it all kind of started as like a joke. Like I asked him like, have you ever killed anybody? Just like, she needs to die. Like we like had this thing like planned for like 2 years and we are just waiting on.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Every murder case has a face the world remembers, but sometimes the most dangerous person isn't the one covered in blood. Sometimes it's the one hiding in plain sight, controlling the story from behind the curtain. This case was never really about the obvious suspect. It was about the person standing behind him, the one who didn't hold the knife, but may have helped sharpen the plan.
I just got home, my back door is kicked in, and my girl ain't answering the phone.
Okay, what's your name?
My name's Christopher Jackson. My son's inside with her and everything. I'm about to go in and see what's going on.
Okay, why don't you just wait for officers? I'll get them over there.
All right, thank you.
On November 13, 2015, at around 7:10 in the morning, police in Minot, North Dakota received a disturbing 911 call. The caller was Christopher Jackson, a Walmart stalker who had just returned home from his overnight shift. But when Christopher reached his house, something was wrong. The back door had been kicked in. His fiancée was inside. His young son was inside. And Christopher had no idea what he was about to find.
When officers arrived on scene, they saw Christopher Jackson standing in the driveway. He reported that he had just arrived home from working the overnight shift and found that his back door was kicked open. He was upset, very anxious.
Chris stated that his fiancée, Angela, was inside the house, and also their young son, he believed was still in the house.
You could just see the look on Chris's face, that he knew something was wrong, and he was fearing the worst.
The officers found the back door of the house. It appeared to be kicked in. There was a noticeable boot print on the white door. The door frame itself was fractured, broken, splintered.
As Christopher waited outside, anxious and terrified, officers made their way into the house. At that moment, nobody knew what they were walking into. It could have been a robbery, it could have been a hostage situation, or the person responsible could still have been hiding somewhere inside. So the officers moved carefully, room by room, trying to understand what had happened behind that broken door.
They went down the hallway where they found 2 bedrooms. One was locked. They searched the other room across the hall, and that's where they found the young child inside of his crib. He appeared to have been sleeping, wasn't harmed, seemed in good condition. One of the officers picked up the child, took him outside, and brought him to his father.
He was relieved to see that his child was unharmed, but that very quickly changed to concern about why isn't Angela out?
After that was completed is when we prepared to enter through the locked door. I stood next to the door while another officer kicked the door open.
They could see a large bed, and as you walked in, you could immediately see that there was blood on the bed, and there appeared to be somewhat of a scuffle.
As I turned the corner between the bed and the wall, I saw a younger white female laying on the floor. She was laying on her back, appeared to be wearing sleeping clothes, covered in blood. It became apparent that she had suffered multiple stab wounds.
They were able to determine that the victim was Angela Wilder, and that she was in fact deceased.
When they looked at Angela's body, they could see blood coagulating behind her head on the floor and on the back of her neck, which told us that she had been dead at least some hours.
It appeared there may have been some possible DNA underneath her fingernails. It appeared that she may have scratched or at least fought briefly with her attacker. So they collected swabs.
With the amount of times that she was stabbed, we definitely knew that whoever attacked Angela had anger and definitely wanted her dead.
The scene inside the house was shocking, but for investigators, the first question was not only what happened to Angela, it was also about the man standing outside. Christopher Jackson had called 911. He sounded scared, he looked anxious, and he was the one waiting for officers in the driveway. But in a murder investigation, that does not automatically clear anyone. The person closest to the victim is often the first person police have to look at. So even though Christopher made the call, investigators still needed to know one thing. Why didn't he go inside?
Where do you work at?
Walmart.
Walmart? Okay. What do you do at Walmart?
Stock.
Okay. What are the hours for that?
My hours are like 10 to 7.
Okay. So you go into work at 10. Does she give you a ride to work then?
Yeah.
Okay. So walk me through what happened this morning.
I always call her on break.
Okay.
Just to see how she's doing. Just to talk to her. Because I work nights.
What time's break?
Break is 5.
Did you call her at 5?
Yeah.
Okay. And how did that call go?
It didn't. I figured, okay, she's just tired. But she always picks up whenever I call her.
What time does she usually pick you up from work?
She's usually there about 7, and she's not out there this morning. And I keep calling her. And she's not picking up the phone. So I call a taxi. I get to the house. So I walk around back, and the door is open. And something in my stomach just felt wrong. So I called the cops. And ambulance comes. And the guys go in, and they come back out. And there's still no Angela.
Looking at Chris, the way he's sitting right there, he's pretty open. It's not like he's trying to hide anything. He's not crossed legs, not crossed arms. He seemed genuinely hurt in that and heartbroken at that point.
Was Angela working at the time?
No, she just got in a nursing
You guys argue?
Oh yeah, of course, we're in a relationship.
Oh, I'm in your home. You guys leave the doors unlocked.
Except for the front door and the back door. Always leave them locked.
How is your relationship now with Angela?
Oh, it was very stable.
Okay.
We went up to Billings like earlier this week because she was excited because she got a pregnancy test.
So Angela was pregnant?
She was trying to keep it a secret from me for Christmas. She kind of glowed a little bit, so.
I could tell by the way he talked about Angela that he really did love her. His reactions, his emotions, everything seemed very appropriate. I had no evidence that led us to believe that there was anything toxic in his relationship with Angela.
My initial gut feeling at that point was that he probably was not the one who murdered Angela.
What's your guys' typical evening like before you go to work?
We're shut. Nothing seems out of place. You walk by the front window, in between the blinds. There's people that might not like her, but I don't think anybody would be to that point.
I know that you said that the dispatcher told you not to go in the house, that officers were on their way. Did you go into the house?
Something in my stomach said not to.
Okay. So last time you were in the house was when you left for work last night?
Yes, ma'am.
Who would harm Angela if that's the case?
And then Chris said a name, Richie. At first, it was just one name in the middle of a desperate interview, but to investigators, that name meant history.
Chris told us that Richie Wilder was Angela Wilder's ex-husband. They also shared a biological child together, as well as Angela's firstborn child was adopted by Richie while they were married, and they shared custody of the children.
What's the relationship like with Richie?
If you can name it, they probably been through it. He doesn't like her, she doesn't like him. He was in the military and he got kicked out because he was beating the shit out of him. They got divorced over it.
Is he still living in Minot?
We always had to take the kids up to Marketplace Foods Sunday at 5 and not go in there, so Angela didn't have to.
Was Sunday the custody exchange then? Is that every week?
Every week.
Okay, has there been anything recent between the two of them? Any verbal, physical contact?
Dirty looks, scowls, bull back and forth.
Richie Wilder was Angela's ex-husband. They had children connected between them, a bitter custody situation, and according to Chris, a relationship filled with anger, dirty looks, threats, and bad blood. This was no random stranger. This was someone who had been close to Angela's life, close enough to know her routine, her family, and the pressure points around her children. And in a murder case, when an ex-husband's name comes up this early, investigators don't ignore it. They follow it, because sometimes the first real clue is not a fingerprint. Sometimes it's a name.
When's the last time you saw Richie?
Last Sunday.
The custody exchange then?
Yeah.
Okay.
We get there and Cindy's sitting on there in a freaking Honda.
Who's Cindy?
Cindy's Richie's wife. Cindy sits there and scowls at us the entire time. I walk the kids in, tell them I love them and everything. Each time we get the kids back, it's always something about Richie said this or did that. It's always putting us down and just calling us trash.
Okay. I'm gonna step out for just a second. Do you need anything? I'm not putting done with your water. Need some more? Okay. Let me get you some more water.
Once we were done talking to him, he also agreed to take a polygraph, and he passed that.
We contacted his employer. We were able to get the video of all the cameras in the business. And we were able to confirm that Chris never left his job that night.
Mr. Jackson's alibi was solid. At that point, I was very confident that Christopher Jackson was innocent. So we definitely wanted to get Richie Wilder into the police department so we could see what his story is, see where he was at, and see what he had to say about all of this.
Richie Wilder was called into the
Yes,
station.
sir.
At first, he looked calm, composed, almost innocent. But sometimes calm does not mean clean.
Yep.
Sometimes it means
Hi,
prepared.
Richie.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Richie. My name's Detective Kristen McNice and Sergeant Detective Dave Goodman. I'm not sure what patrol told you or the officers told you when they came up to the house to get you.
I needed to come down and answer questions.
Did they tell you what about?
Well, I got some messages that they text, and then I saw on Facebook that something happened. I don't know. I know my wife, when she drove my to school today, she saw some cars out there.
When we said out there, you're talking about
Maxwell's house.
that's
Angela's house.
Angela's house.
Sorry.
Okay.
What happened to your face? You get a scratch in your
Yeah,
face.
that's from my kid.
When officers walked into the room, the first thing they noticed was Richie's face. There was a fresh scratch under his eye. Richie said his child had scratched him while they were playing, but the answer didn't feel natural. And right there, the investigation shifted.
And how did that happen?
We play wrestle/play fight. Sometimes he claws me up. He has long fingernails sometimes. So
When did that happen?
that happened yesterday.
And tell me about the scenario of what you guys were doing when that happened.
Oh, just in the living room. I usually get on my knees and we kind of play around.
And the thing I don't want to hear is usually.
Oh,
I mean, tell me exactly what happened. Oh, I could see his brain working when I asked him about the scratch. You could tell that he's uncomfortable explaining this, and he keeps falling back on a memory, I believe, of him wrestling with his son. And that was a huge red flag for us.
Okay. Did you work last night?
from 7 to 11.
And you were at Trinity that whole time?
Yes, sir. We can't leave the hospital without permission.
Where'd you go after you left work?
Straight home.
Can anybody tell us what time you got home?
Cindy?
Cindy can? Okay. Did you ever leave to go anywhere in the middle of the night?
No.
Have you ever been inside her house?
No, sir.
Have you ever made statements to Angela about taking the kids away from her?
What did that cost between the two of you then? You consider yourself a smart man, Richie?
Depending on what it is.
You can certainly put 2 and 2 together, right?
Yes.
So what is the 2 and 2 that you put together in this situation?
Well, somebody passed away. I know that. I just don't know who.
Watch Richie closely here. The calm face, the controlled answers, the innocent act. But it wasn't working. He claimed he didn't even know who had died. And that was the problem. Because sometimes a suspect doesn't get caught by what he confesses. He gets caught by how badly he performs.
We're doing an investigation here, and obviously this is serious. We have you down.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, Angela's dead. Well, what do you know about that?
Know about what?
About Angela being dead?
I think just what you said.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of fingers pointing right at you.
Well, yeah. Because I'm her ex-husband, right?
Well, you're her ex-husband, and you guys have a volatile
Yeah.
relationship. Did you hurt her?
No.
Did you kill her?
No.
No?
No. I don't know anything about it.
Your DNA is not going to show up anywhere on her? Going to show up on her fingernails? Your DNA is not going to show up in her house?
No. I've never been to her house. And if I did, I would tell you.
If anybody ever accused me of something I didn't do, I'd be angry, but he was very calm and non-caring, just sits there quiet. It just didn't make much sense. You know, I try and think of people that would benefit from this. And again, it brings me back to you, but it also brings me to Cindy. I mean, it could be something maybe that Cindy's just tired of dealing with. All this pain in the ass custody. Do you think she killed Angela?
Richie wasn't breaking. He stayed calm, quiet, controlled. So officers tried one more angle. They brought up his wife, Cindy. Maybe that name would shake him. Maybe that name would make him slip. Because if Richie wasn't ready to talk about himself, maybe he would react when the investigation started moving toward her.
Not Cindy.
How confident are you on that?
100%.
Would you take a polygraph exam?
I mean, yeah, if I need to. I got in a high. I want to get to the bottom of it because I want to clear my name.
Okay.
You know.
Let's start with the polygraph. You'll be here at 8 o'clock tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to grab a camera and just take some pictures of your scratch in your face. And we'd like to look through your phone and your vehicle and your wife's vehicle.
Officers began photographing Richie, the scratch on his face, his body, every mark that could matter. They also collected his DNA, knowing Angela may have fought back and scratched her attacker. Richie was now being prepared for a polygraph. And slowly the calm version of Richie started to disappear. The confidence faded. The answers became heavier, because by now he knew one thing clearly. Time was slipping out of his hands. After Richie's interview, investigators turned to his wife, Cindy, and Cindy gave them the same story Richie had given. According to her, Richie came home from work, got into bed, and never left the house that night. At first, she didn't look like the killer. She looked like the wife backing her husband. But then investigators searched their vehicles, and inside Cindy's Honda Pilot, they found something small, something almost invisible, but something that changed the entire case.
When the crime scene team processed the Honda Pilot, one of the crime scene officers located a small dot on the passenger door. It was dark brown in color and smaller than a pencil eraser.
It came back as human blood. So we sent the blood in for DNA testing.
At that point, it becomes a waiting game.
12 hours after Angela Wilder was found dead inside her home, detectives were waiting for Richie Wilder to return for his polygraph, but Richie never showed up. Investigators started digging deeper into Richie's life. He worked at a local hospital, and very quickly they learned something important. Richie had relationships with multiple women there. He had a pattern, a messy private life, a troubling history with women. None of that proved he was a killer, but it told detectives they were looking in the right direction. And then, about a month after Angela's murder, the crime lab called.
About a month after the murder, we did receive a call from the North Dakota State Crime Lab. They told us that the swab taken from the Honda Pilot was Angela Wilder's blood. Finding Angela Wilder's blood in Cynthia Wilder's Honda Pilot was a huge break for us. It was a very emotional moment.
Angela's DNA should not have been in that vehicle. Ultimately, we got the DNA back from the fingernail scrapings of Angela that showed Richie's DNA underneath there. That was the breaking moment in this case.
Now detectives had what they needed. Richie's story was falling apart. Angela's blood had been found in Cindy's Honda Pilot, and the evidence was no longer pointing at just one person. So investigators brought Cindy back in, this time not as a wife giving an alibi, but as someone who might know exactly what happened that night.
At this point, we highly suspected that she had information about the homicide. She lied during the first interview when she said that he didn't leave anywhere during the night. We knew that she was going to stick to her story, so we had to say something shocking that would change the course of that.
We have Richie down here. Do you know why we have Richie down here? We've arrested Richie for the murder of Angela Wilder. You tell me?
We want you to be honest with us this time. Cindy, we have a lot that we want to share with you too. Stuff that I would think that you would want to know. I don't mean any disrespect by saying this, Cindy. I'm a little bit confused about your relationship with Richie. I know he's your husband, but I'll tell you what, you don't fit the criteria of the other women that he's sleeping with. Not at all.
He's not a cheater. Do not accuse him of that.
Oh, we don't
I
have
can
to
prove
accuse
that.
him, we have proof. This is Jennifer, and Jennifer told us about the sexual relationship she's had with Richie since the beginning of the year.
Well, then that's awesome. Congratulations.
We're not trying to offend you or piss you off with that information.
Because I know it's not true.
We can play the recordings.
Know who this is?
No.
That's another one.
He's got relationships with all three of these women.
Well, I want to see proof of that. Do you have it on video?
We have Joanne on video saying
I don't want to see a video of them saying. I want to see a video of them having sex with my husband. That's what I want.
Cindy,
I don't believe you until I see that. I trust my
Let me tell you something.
100%.
She's Steven in his phone.
Well, he is busy. He's very busy.
I don't give two.
I feel it for you. And it's absolute bull that he had this whole other life.
My gut feeling right now, Cindy, is that this isn't fair to you. Richie did something horrible. And you know it. But it's time to be honest with us and tell us the truth. Why did he do it? Because he hates her? Because of money? Because of the children? Why?
I don't know anything else to say.
She was definitely playing the loyal wife, but I thought there was more to it, and I felt like she had information on how and when and what happened to clothing that might have had blood on it, and I wanted her to break.
Did you know that Angela was pregnant?
No.
She was. She was pregnant when Richie killed her.
Don't say that. If
It's
she
the
did,
truth. That's the evidence that we've gathered.
What evidence?
it's scientific
What's the-
evidence.
We have DNA evidence that we took from the Honda, that we
Of
took
course,
off.
there would be Richie's
No, no.
DNA in my Honda.
Whose DNA shouldn't be in the Honda?
Whose blood should not be in the Honda?
Nobody's blood has ever been in the Honda.
Whose blood do you think is in the Honda?
I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, Angela's blood. There's blood on the passenger door of that vehicle that belongs to Angela. How did that get there?
Well, I don't know why blood would be on our door if she supposedly died in her house.
Because who killed her was in your car. That's all.
Cindy had been given the facts, the blood in the Honda, the questions around Richie, the things investigators already knew. But she didn't move. She didn't explain. She didn't break. She just kept sitting there, holding on to the same version of the night, even when that version no longer made sense.
We want you to tell us what you know. That's why we're sharing these things. Because we know you know more. Were you with him when he did this?
What was that for?
Did he stay at the house at all that night?
Yes, he came home after work.
Okay. What time did he leave the house?
He didn't leave the house that
Yes, he did.
You should leave the house that night.
No, he didn't. I was up several times with the kids and he was out cold.
That's not true.
That's not true.
My goal here is just for you to be honest with us and tell us what you know. Are you going to tell us, Cindy?
I don't have anything to tell.
If you don't want to talk now, I beg of you to please reconsider and call us.
We highly suspected that Cynthia was involved in more ways than one, but we didn't have evidence against her at that point.
I never got a good feeling about Cynthia, but there's nothing we can charge her with at that time. And she is free to leave.
Richie had stopped talking. Cindy wasn't giving investigators anything. And for a while, the case against her had nowhere to go. They had suspicion. They had questions. But they still didn't have the piece that could expose what really happened behind the scenes. Then, after a long silence, Richie decided he wanted to talk. But this was not a confession filled with truth. This was Richie trying to save himself by telling a completely different version of the night.
Richie wanted to give this information because he was looking for some sort of deal. So that's when we set up the interview to take place in the sheriff's office in their conference room.
That you have some information that you want to share with us. And it's my understanding that you want to share your involvement in this crime, this homicide.
So Chris said he kind of came up with an idea to, like, where I could get full custody of my kids and he could get full custody of his. 'Cause I guess they were, having some issues. And I was like, okay, what do you want? And he said he thought that Angela was cheating on him. And he said when he goes to work that he thought somebody was coming over. He's like, we'll catch him in bed and then you can testify for me in court against her that she's cheating on me and then we both get full custody. So I was like, yeah, sure, you're going to help me, I'm going to help you. That sounds good to me. But he called me that night. He's like, why don't you come down and get me? And then, we'll head up and catch him in the act. So I got in the car, drove to Walmart, picked him up, drove back to his house. We got out of the car, he unlocked the door, we went in.
Tell me exactly what you saw when you went.
Oh, okay. We went up some stairs and then we went through a room, but that was like their bedroom. And it looked like there was two people in the bed, And so as he pulled back the cover, the first thing I noticed, there wasn't a person. That was a body pillow. But he grabbed her and he just started making a motion. He just kept stabbing her. I ran over there. She leaned up and scratched the mess out of my face. She was just like, I love you. And he just started stabbing her more. And I was like, what the are you doing?
It was just the most far-fetched fantasy, I think. There's no other way to put it. At this point, he'd had several months of sitting in the jail to try to concoct a story. And then when I heard it, I'm like, this is the best he could do, is Chris did it.
What did he say?
He just said, he's like, I'm serious. He's like, if you tell anybody, he's like, I'm gonna kill your wife, I'm gonna kill your little one.
Okay.
He never said their name, he just kept saying your wife and your little one.
I know from your admission that you were there. But it doesn't fit. Because I know that Chris did not leave Walmart during the hours that you say that he did.
He did though.
I know he didn't because I watched him on video. I watched him at work.
I didn't kill anybody.
I think you killed Angela.
Yeah, I told you Chris did.
You can stop anytime you want.
Stop.
Okay. I appreciate you talking to us.
We were preparing with the idea that Richie Wilder was going to lie to us. Our plan was to let him tell his story and just let those lies bury him. There was so much that he locked himself into.
Richie thought this new story would help him, but even his lawyer could see he wasn't prepared. He kept adding details, and every detail pushed him closer to Angela's house. The problem was simple. Investigators already knew Christopher never left Walmart, so Richie didn't save himself. He talked himself into the crime scene.
This afternoon, the jury convicted Richie Wilder of murdering his ex-wife Angela in her Northwest Minot home last November.
Richie's current wife, Cynthia, remained resolute in her husband's innocence.
I stand by him.
We can't ask for a better sentence than life without parole. So we were happy with that.
Even after Richie was convicted, investigators still had one problem. They didn't believe he had done it all alone. Cynthia's name had been there from the beginning. Her car, her alibi, her silence. But suspicion is not enough to put someone away. For months, that part of the case stayed locked. Then, more than a year later, a new call came in. And this time, it wasn't just another clue. It was the break investigators had been waiting for.
The Minot Police Department received a call in March of 2017 from a Matt Walters.
He'd said that he has possible information about the murder of Angela Wilder.
We called him just to see if this was really true.
Good afternoon, is this Matt?
It is.
Matt, Detective Minot calling from the Minot Police Department. Some information was passed along to me. I wanted to follow up with you.
So it's kind of torn for a while on whether I can call you guys. Do you know Cindy?
Cindy, in relation to what?
So her husband is the guy that he's the one that stabbed that woman a couple years back, and he's in jail right now for it. They just tried him.
Richie Wilder?
Yes, Richie Wilder. Over the last 3 to 4 months, she just keeps saying stuff that is very unnerving, like hinting that she had something to do with this.
She heavily insinuated through Facebook messages that she was involved in the murder that her husband committed.
Would you be able to send me all those messages?
Yeah, I can screenshot them and send them to you. Immediately after that, she says, it wasn't supposed to be a knife, and you were the only person I have said anything to. That one really raised the hair on the back of my neck.
Mr. Walters had a good conscience and said that this just wasn't sitting well with him, and he wanted to sign up as a confidential informant. We're very excited. We knew that this was our chance to hold her responsible for the role that she played.
Cindy's messages had already said too much, but messages can be denied. Screenshots can be questioned. Investigators needed something stronger. They needed Cindy's own voice. And that final move came through a man named Matt Walters. He agreed to wear a wire and get Cindy to say it out loud.
We basically wanted to get it in her words instead of in typed messages that she could have argued somebody else was typing. He went to Cindy's house. They sat outside in a parked car for a good couple of hours, and they talked, and a lot of it was just small talk. We knew that Mr. Walters was trying to get her just comfortable talking to him again.
I had a really good time. I mean, it's good. We're talking, connecting.
It's nice to get out of the house and laugh. I mean, I haven't laughed
Yeah.
in a long time. I've just become this negative.
Cynical?
Yeah, that hateful, like, I don't know. I'm just mad all the time, and I don't know why.
About what?
I don't know. That's the problem.
Are you mad at your husband?
No, like, I'm proud of him. I'm just pissed that he got caught and that he got sloppy and impatient, and I thought we were like in the clear. And it all kind of started as like a joke. Like, I asked him, like, have you ever killed anybody? Just like, and she needs to die. Like, we like had this thing like planned for like 2 years, and we were just waiting on.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. Like,
Jesus.
I helped him. Like, I would leave, like, when he worked nights, I would leave the house at like midnight and like sit outside her house in my vehicle seeing who came into the house. Yeah, we had this planned out, and he it up.
I mean, how did, but like...
Because he didn't clean the car good enough. One spot of blood in my car. He just has like so much anger towards her. That's why he couldn't just do one jab to the jugular and get out. No, he like went psycho on her.
I don't know. A knife's a stupid way to kill somebody.
Yeah.
So once you realized it was real, then what? Like...
Then I just had to stick with, he was home with me all night.
To be honest, I thought you were full of when you told me before that he was home with you all night.
Yeah, I could go to jail for a very long time because I helped him.
There's been another arrest in connection with the 2015 Minot murder.
The wife of convicted murderer Richie Wilder was arrested today and charged with conspiracy in the murder of Wilder's ex-wife.
It was ultimate justice. And it's kind of karma coming back and biting her. She was 100% involved in this murder, and she fortunately spilled it all to the wrong person.
The Minot woman who pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder will spend the rest of her life in jail.
Cynthia Wilder was sentenced today in a hearing where the judge went well beyond the recommendations of both the defense and prosecution.
You were the one person who could have intervened. You were the one person who could have spared Angela Wilder's life. You chose not to do so.
The life in prison sentence with no parole is the exact same sentence that her husband Richie Wilder is now serving for killing Angela.
Richie and Cindy never gave one clear reason for why Angela had to die, but the picture around them said enough. Richie hated Angela. She had survived his control, moved on with her life, and built something better without him. She had Chris, she had her children, she had a future. And maybe that was what Richie couldn't stand. Angela was not broken after him. She was free. Then Cindy came into that hate and made it darker. She didn't stop him, she helped him. She watched Angela's house. She protected the alibi. And according to her own words, this wasn't a sudden mistake. It was something they had talked about, waited for, and planned. In the end, Angela lost her life because two people could not live with the fact that she had moved on. All of that pain, all of that planning, for nothing.